For today's episode, we are talking about something every hotel should be thinking about right now. Social media is not the extra line you fund if there's money left over. It is where hotels build visibility, trust, and demand before a booking decision ever happens. In this episode, I'll explain why 2027 budgeting needs to include a real investment in social media and why waiting could leave your property behind. I'm Calvin Tilokee, and this is Socially Awkward. So how do you know if you're doing social correctly or if you're just ticking a box? One warning sign is that nobody can explain the strategy beyond we post 3 times a week. Frequency is not a strategy. Another sign is that the feed could belong to any hotel. A room photo, a lobby photo, a breakfast photo, a holiday graphic, a generic caption, nothing specific about the market, the guests, the property, the team, the experience, or the reason someone should care. Another big warning sign is that social is not included in commercial conversations. If revenue, sales, and operations are making plans and the social team finds out after everything is decided, then social is being treated as distribution, not part of the strategy. Also, if the property only talks about social when something needs to be posted immediately, that's a checkbox. Can you post this today? Is not a marketing plan. No reporting is another big red flag and another sign that you're not taking this seriously. Or reporting that only says likes went up or followers increased without any discussion of reach, audience quality, website actions, content learnings, inquiries, campaign performance, or how the content supported business priorities. And here's a very simple one. If the hotel social media disappears when the one person responsible gets busy, goes on vacation, or leaves the property, then it was never a system. It was a task. A growth channel has ownership, process, strategy, budget, measurement, and accountability. A checkbox has random posts and hope. And as we say in revenue management, hope is not a strategy. So something we get from owners and GMs and other decision makers is we tried social media and it didn't drive any bookings. So let's unpack why that may have happened. The first thing I would start by asking is, what exactly did you try? Because we tried social media can mean a lot of things. Did you post occasionally? Did you have a strategy? Did you run campaigns? Did you create original content? Did you connect posts to offers? Did you track website traffic? Did you give it enough time? Did you know who you were trying to reach? Then I would ask what the goal was. Were you trying to drive immediate bookings, build brand awareness, support a need period, promote a package, increase direct traffic, generate inquiries, improve local visibility? If the goal wasn't clear, the result won't be clear either. But also look at the investment level. Was there enough budget for strategy and content, or was someone just posting whatever assets already existed? Were there enough videos? Were there fresh visuals? Was anyone engaging with the audience? Was the content aligned with the property's actual business needs? Then I would look at the booking path. This is important. Social media can create interest, but if the landing page is weak, the offer is unclear, the booking engine is clunky, the rate strategy is off, or the value isn't obvious, social is going to get blamed for a problem it didn't create. I would also ask how long they tested it. A lot of hotels want social media to behave like a light switch. Turn it on, bookings appear. But social is often more like a muscle. You build recognition, trust, content intelligence, audience understanding, and momentum over time. So when someone says social didn't work, I wouldn't dismiss them. But I would say, let's diagnose it. Was it the channel? Was it an unclear strategy, weak content, poor measurement, bad timing, limited budget, or unrealistic expectations? Because those are all very different problems. Hey, let me ask you something. If you're running a hotel and you know social media matters, but you just don't have the time to figure it out, you're not alone. That's exactly why I built Revpar Media. We work with hotels to create marketing strategies that actually drive bookings, not just likes. From social media management to influencer campaigns to full creative production, we've been in the room, we've managed the revenue, and we know what moves the needle. If that's something you're looking to solve right now, scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the show notes. Now, back to today's conversation. So one thing to look at to measure the success of your social media is to track the metrics. We're very accustomed with that in the revenue management side of things, occupancy, ADR, Revpar. However, there are a few key metrics you need to look at on social media to determine the effectiveness of your strategy. And this goes beyond just likes and follower counts. Those are not meaningless, but they are incomplete. They're signals, not the full story. So hotels should be looking at reach and impressions, but with context. Are you reaching the right people? Are you showing up in your market? Are people discovering the property who may not have known you existed? Website clicks matter. Profile visits matter. Link clicks matter. DMs, comments and saves matter. Saves and shares matter a little bit more because they often show intent and usefulness of the content that was viewed. If someone saves a post about a local event, a wedding venue, a rooftop, family package, or a guide to the neighborhood, that may be more valuable than just a casual like. Video watch time and completion rate can also tell you what people actually care about. Are they watching the room tour, the local guide, the behind-the-scenes staff content, the package explanation? That gives you insight into what's resonating. Hotels also need to look at campaign-specific performance. If you're promoting a package, use trackable links. If you're supporting a need period, look at traffic and booking behavior during that window. If sales is targeting weddings or meetings, look at whether social content helps create inquiries or supports the sales conversation. I also think content learnings are underrated. Social tells you what the market responds to. Maybe your audience cares more about parking and location than the lobby. Maybe they care more about pet-friendly rooms than your restaurant. Maybe local event content outperforms generic brand content. That's useful business intelligence. And finally, look at whether social is making the hotel easier to trust. That can be harder to measure directly, but it shows up in engagement quality, comments, questions, DMs, shares, tag content, influencer interest, and how often people reference social and conversations with the property. The goal is not to ignore likes. The goal is to stop pretending likes are the whole scoreboard. So if you're in a position where you haven't been investing in your social media, but your comp set has, and you've now started to fall behind, here's how we can address that. And these things happen slowly. They happen over time, and that's what makes it dangerous. A competitor doesn't need one viral video to pull ahead. They just need to show up consistently with a clear message for a longer period of time. They become familiar. Their rooms feel current. Their restaurant feels more active. Their team feels more human. They've built a connection with their audience. Neighborhood feels easier to understand. Packages feel more relevant. Their brand feels alive. Meanwhile, the hotel that isn't investing starts to feel invisible or stale, even if the actual property is perfectly fine. And that's the risk. Social media shapes perception. If your last few posts are outdated, generic, or inconsistent, people will notice. Maybe not consciously, but it affects confidence. A guest may not say, I chose another hotel because this Instagram felt stronger, but they may choose the hotel that felt more trustworthy, more active, and easier to picture themselves staying in. The other issue is compounding. The competitor that starts now is not just getting posts up. They're learning. They're learning what content works, what guests respond to, what questions come up, and which partnerships matter, which creators are useful, which packages get traction, and which platforms deserve more attention. If you wait until 2027 to start taking it seriously, you're not starting from the same line as your competition. You're starting behind someone who's already built consistent content, audience, process, and confidence. That's why underinvestment is not neutral. It's a decision to let someone else build a relationship first. So one question we get a lot as well is hotels that don't have a luxury product or a huge creative budget, what should they prioritize first in their 2027 plan? First, you want clarity. You don't need to be luxury to be valuable. You need to understand who you are for and what problem you solve. A select service hotel, airport hotel, branded hotel, extended stay property, suburban hotel, roadside, all of these can have strong social media if the content is specific and useful. The mistake is trying to market yourself like a luxury resort when that's not why people choose you. So the first priority is defining the guest. Who's staying with you? Why are they there? What are they stressed about? What are they trying to make easier? Are they visiting family, attending an event, flying out early, traveling for work, relocating, going to a sports tournament, visiting a hospital, attending a wedding, or just doing a quick weekend trip? Once you understand that, the content becomes much easier. Second, build a few simple content pillars. For example, rooms and amenities, local convenience, guest use cases, team and service, packages and offers, neighborhood event content. You don't need 25 different ideas. You need a structure that you can execute consistently. Third, budget for basic content capture. Not necessarily massive production, shoots every month, but enough photo and video to keep the hotel current. A property should not be relying on old brand photography from 5 years ago. Fourth, pick the platforms you can actually manage well. It is better to be strong and consistent on a couple of platforms than be scattered and weak everywhere. For example, we get a lot of questions about hotels being active on X or /Twitter for the elder millennials like myself. Twitter is a great platform, but you need to be responding immediately. If you don't have the bandwidth or the team set up to respond to those messages right away in real time, you're just wasting your time. And finally, again, connect your content to business needs. If you have need periods, packages, events, corporate accounts, wedding opportunities, or local demand drivers, build content around those. That is where even a modest budget can become useful. The goal is not to look expensive. The goal is to look relevant, trustworthy, and easy to choose. If you're a hotel that wants to finally decide to fund social media property next year, here's what your first 90 days should look like. The first 30 days would be spent on diagnosis and strategy. I would start with an audit: current social channels, website, booking path, competitor presence, content quality, audience engagement, reviews, local market, and commercial priorities. I would want to understand what the hotel is trying to accomplish, where the demand gaps are, what segments matter, and what the property has not been communicating well. Then, define the positioning. Who is this hotel for? Why do guests choose it? What makes it useful? What makes it different in the market? What should people understand after seeing 5 or 6 pieces of content? The next 30 days would be content foundation. That means building the content pillars, planning the calendar, identifying key campaigns, capturing assets, setting up reporting, tightening the profiles, cleaning up links, making sure social is connected to the website and the booking path. I would also want input from revenue, sales, operations, and the property team because social should not be created in a vacuum. Then, the final 30 days would be on execution and learning. Start publishing consistently, test different content types, watch what people respond to, track website actions, saves, shares, profile visits, DMs, comments, and campaign performance. Look at what content helps explain the property best, then refine it. By the end of 90 days, I would want the hotel to have a clear strategy, a repeatable content process, stronger creative assets, consistent positioning, early performance insights, and an alignment between social and the hotel's commercial goals. And most importantly, I would want the team to stop thinking of social as something we need to post and start thinking of it as a channel that we're building, because that's the real shift. You're not just filling a feed, you're building visibility, trust, and demand over time. I hope that was helpful for you guys. This has been a really fun episode to record. As you can see, we're very passionate about hotels and social media and marketing here at Revpar Media. If you guys are looking to make an investment and really get your social media off the ground in 2027, please reach out. Looking forward to seeing you on the next episode.